Hey everyone, welcome back to Up North with the Nybergs. Ed here, and this video is all about the Starlink system. So if you live rurally or you're thinking about moving out in the country and you're worried or concerned about the internet service, this video is definitely for you. I'll give my impressions. I've done a lot of research on it. I'll give my thoughts and impressions in this video, so stick around. Hey everyone, welcome back to Up North with the Nybergs. Ed here. I'm actually down in my soon-to-be completed workshop down here in the Red Barn. It's not quite there yet. I finally have heat and it's almost completely secured, but I haven't moved down here yet. I've just got a few tools that I've used just when I've done a little bit of work down here. So I'm not officially down here yet, but hopefully soon. If you happen to notice, over my shoulder, you'll see that our Starlink system has arrived. And if you're not familiar with the Starlink system, it's through SpaceX and Elon Musk. And if you're a subscriber or you watch the channel regularly, you know we live in a very rural area. And we currently have internet, and it's through CenturyLink, and it's called, not DSL, but there's actually a V in front of it. It's called VDSL, and we can get upwards of about 25 megabytes per second, but typically we're probably around 15 to 20 as well. So because we are so rural, we decided that we needed to improve that, increase that. As most of you know, I operate a business out of my house, and so Kathy and I rely on very fast internet speeds, and so we decided to investigate the Starlink system, and so far we finally got it. We actually put in for it or ordered it, boy, maybe 7-8 months ago, and it finally arrived here as well. So there's plenty of videos out there on unboxing, but for the most part what we have here is the system. I got a pole because I decided to pole mount it. Starlink provides an app that gives you an idea of where to place it, and we didn't want to place it on our roof, so we decided to put it on a pole mount that is just right outside from our house. And we have good visibility. We don't have any trees around, so we decided to do that. You can get that at Starlink as well. And then what comes in the box is a 75-foot cable, and that just wasn't going to do it for us, so I ended up ordering another 150-foot cable so that we can run it into the house where we actually want it. As I mentioned, there's a lot of unboxing videos. I'm certainly not going to go through that with you today, but I just want to give you a couple of ideas to think about. We live online. Kathy and I are pretty tech savvy because that's our business, quite frankly, and so we need to be. And a couple things that I'll mention here, as I mentioned, the VDSL through CenturyLink gets us about 15 to 20 megabytes per second, and that's decent. We can stream, certainly do Zoom calls and things like that. That's not an issue, but when we have guests and we have quite a few people up here visiting, it tends to slow everything down. And so what we're hoping with a Starlink system is to be able to get somewhere about 80 to 120 megabytes per second. And I know some people are getting much faster than that, but there's also some people that are getting a little bit less than that as well. So if we can get anything close to 80 to 120, we'll certainly be happy. Now the pricing for this is pretty substantial. It's a pretty big investment. The unit itself now is $599, and that gives you the cable plus the receiver plus a mount that you can, just a temporary mount, or you can place that particular mount on your roof. Now this pole is an option, and that's $55 to get that. And I think that's going to be a great solution. And I'll do an installation video as well on how we're going to mount it and where and all that fun stuff in a subsequent video. The other thing is the 150-foot cable. That I think that was pretty expensive. That was around $90, $95, somewhere in there. The other thing that I decided to get after I received this, I got an email from SpaceX or Starlink telling me that I qualified as someone that's already taken delivery to be able to get another router. It's called a mesh router, and that expands. It's like a Wi-Fi extender, but it's considered a mesh router, which means you can walk from room to room to room and never lose connection. Whereas if you used an extender, there's a lot of times where you'll lose connection to whatever one you're hooked on or connected to, and then you go into maybe the garage or the basement, and you'll have to reconnect to the extender to get good coverage. A lot of the technology now will automatically, if you have them both on your phone or computer, they'll automatically connect. But this mesh system just takes the worry out of it. You just don't have to worry about it. You can go anywhere pretty much in your house and have that router work for you. Now that's a little pricey, I think. That was, for an extra one, that was $130. So, yeah, like I said, it's a pretty significant investment, but as I mentioned, this is our livelihood, so we certainly want fast internet. And that's great. This is a great option. You know, I'm always talking about, you know, trying to inspire people to move rurally, and a lot of the reasons why people don't, quite frankly, is they just don't have good enough internet for either their job or just in general to stay abreast of what's happening, and they use their internet a lot. So this is, I think, a great solution. I've done a lot of research on it, and a lot of people are pretty happy with it. I haven't really found a whole lot of negativity with it. So once I install it and use it maybe for a month or two, I'll do a subsequent video as well on whether I like it or not, and what kind of speeds we're getting, so you have an idea. Now, I have purchased a few other items thinking about how I'm going to install this on the pole. The cable does not come where you can just bury it in the ground. You know, I'm doing it a little different. A lot of folks will do it on the roof or on a deck or something like that. I didn't want to do that, so I decided to put it on a pole. And so I'm going to bury the cable, but I'm going to bury it in a irrigation 4-inch tube. And I know this is way overkill for digging a trench and laying down this cable, but quite frankly, with the supply issues that we're having, I couldn't find anything like a 1-inch or a 2-inch flexible tubing anywhere. And so, you know, I just picked this up, and, you know, I got to dig the trench anyway, so I'm going to have to make it just a little bit wider and be able to lay this down, but I think it's going to be a good solution. I can put it down. It doesn't have to be below the frost line. It just has to be buried, and maybe, you know, 2 or 3 inches of topsoil or grass on top of it should suffice. One of the things that I was looking at on how to secure this, the cable running through it, is to be able to keep animals and critters and rain and things of that nature out of the tube. So I decided and found this cap. It's a rubber cap, and it's got an adjustable ring on it, clamp on it here. You can see that. So what I'm going to do is run it through and then drill a hole in the top, and I'm going to cut this. Maybe if I have to, I can cut it and then run the cable up through it. And that hopefully will keep everything out of it. I'll probably just have to drill a hole in it and just work it up. This is a big cable though. The ends of these things are pretty stout. They're not easily cables that you can run through your house. If you're thinking of like a TV Cat 5 cable, it's not like that. The cable itself is pretty thin, but the connections on the end tend to be a little bit wider, and so hopefully I can get a nice snug fit on this to be able to keep all the, like I said, all the critters and the rain and the snow and all of that out of there. The last thing I want to do is when the internet goes down, I don't want to have to worry about any cable issues. I can hopefully just rule that out and hopefully it's some other issue, maybe with a router or the satellite dish, something like that. But I want to make sure that this is in the ground and in place, so I don't have to worry about it. But in any event, be on the lookout for an installation video on the pole mount. There's plenty of other videos out there on unboxing and also roof mounts and things like that. But because this channel is all about living rurally, I thought I would share this product and see if it works for what we're looking for out here. We're in northern lower Michigan in the Pinky, just outside Traverse City, and we don't have very good internet connection up here. So hopefully this will solve it. If you have any questions or comments on this, or if you've had any experience with it, please leave them below in the questions comment section. I'll be happy to answer anything that comes about that I've been able to research and find an answer for. But if you have any experience with it, I'd certainly love to hear that as well. And as always, if you like this type of content, be sure to share it with your family and friends. And if you're a subscriber, we certainly thank you for doing that. If you're not a subscriber and you like rural content, please consider subscribing to the channel. But as always, this is Ed with Up North with the Nybergs, and hopefully we'll see you real soon on an installation video.